Welcome to KeyboardBlues.com. This is part 2 of 2 from Chapter 7, taken from Blues for Piano and Keyboard. So far, in this chapter, we've been studying those left-hand tritone comp chords, those fantastic two-note chords that you can do so much with. Now let's look at them in detail. Now they call it tri because tri means 3, and it's made out of 3 whole steps. Can you see that? Here's a whole step, there's a whole step, there's a whole step. And we studied that in pattern, piano, and keyboard. We learned that half steps and whole steps are the absolute foundations when you're putting chords together on the piano. Now, I want to show you something a little strange, kind of off the beaten path, kind of how weird can you make your piano lessons. Now, this is the absolute truth. Back in the Middle Ages, a while ago, the tritone was considered an evil chord. They actually went so far to call it the devil chord. Now, I think God makes all things beautiful. In fact, today, if you listen to black gospel music or gospel music in general, you'll hear chords that are full of tritones, like this. Isn't that nice? There's a tritone right in the middle. Or what if you play a tritone down here? Remember those 3 whole steps? There it is. You can play a nice fat chord built on that. Isn't that amazing? That simple little tritone. And here's an amazing fact. 90% of all the great rhythm and blues chords that really fatten the sound up are based on this simple little tritone. Incredible. You know, they had a lot of fun making that a devil chord back in the Middle Ages. In fact, if you sang that interval in a chant back then, you'd get kicked out. Excommunication for the musician. But now you know better. You know the tritone is actually a beautiful thing that can be put to use very nicely. We're going to go a step further. Now that you know how to create these tritones, I want to show you how to play them in different locations so that your hand doesn't have to jump, so that C and F are within a half step of each other. Now, that may sound ludicrous. C and F are a fourth apart on the keyboard. But now I'm going to show you how to invert these tritones so that they can be played right next to each other. This is typically an advanced concept, but once you understand the pattern of what I'm going to show you, you'll be able to play this stuff right away. Check this out. We're going to start with the chord F. Now here's a new concept. I'm going to invert or turn over this F7 chord by putting the 7th on the bottom and the 3rd on the top. Now do you notice how close those notes are to the ones I played in the video example for C? But now these notes relate to the chord F, and I've inverted it or turned it over and put the 7th on the bottom. Now I'm going to go back to C, just for example's sake. There it is. The 3rd's on the bottom now, and the 7th is on the top. And F has the 7th on the bottom and the 3rd on the top. But the really powerful concept that I'd like you to get here is that even though F7 and C7 are radically different chords, you can play them very simply right next to each other by inverting that F7 comp chord, which means turning it over and putting the 7th on the bottom. Learning to invert chords like this is a powerful concept that can really free up your left hand. So far, we've looked at C and F. The one other chord that shows up is G7. Now if you notice, I've inverted the G chord as well. I've put the 7th on the bottom, which is F, and the 3rd on the top, which is B. And look at that, by inverting that G chord, it's right next to the C chord, and it's really close to the F chord. What a powerful concept that can really free up your hands. Now that you know how to create these left-hand tritone comp chords, I'm going to play the same video again. The video where the right hand's flying around and playing lots of blues riffs, but the left hand is mainly playing either C7, G7, or F7 as two-note tritone comp chords. But this time, I'm going to make it just a little easier to focus on those tritone comp chords. Every time my left hand plays one of them, I'm going to flash a light on the screen, just like this. All right, two-note comp chords. Here we go. Alright, that was an entire buffet of left-hand tritone comp chords. I hope you got them all. When you're ready, let's go on to Chapter 8. If you'd like to see more, come on over to keyboardblues.com. In this website, there's a wealth of online piano and keyboard lessons that you can dig into right away, including this lesson. Before you leave this site, though, would you do us a favor? If these lessons are valuable to you and you'd like to see more, would you just take a minute and leave a comment on the site that you're on right now? Or you can simply rate the video. Either way, it really helps us and enables us to post lessons just like this one, free of charge. Thanks!